I have even more bad news for you. If you listen to last week's episode about Agile not being a thing, leadership isn't a thing either. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast.
Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams.
Hello to all. Pleased to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Now this week, I want to talk about how leadership, like anything that's natural, anything not man-made, it's not a thing. Can't be a thing. And it only makes sense to study it to a certain point, after which we lose the script, we miss the point, and we start making silly mistakes. And before we dig in, let's take a moment to remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works, relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There's so many resources out there about what you need to do to be agile, but we're focused on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. Remember, if this helps you, tell your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode. And come and check out my YouTube channel. Got tons of resources, even more information there for you, little bits of inspiration to keep you going, to keep you growing throughout the week. And as always, you can come to my website at badassagile.com to check out my services, my products, and you can hire me as a speaker, as a consultant if you need me. Now, Agile is man-made, but leadership, arguably, is not. But what the two of them have in common is that they're alluring, they're enticing. We've all seen a great leader and admired them from afar. Maybe they have a mastery of language, or a certain calm, or certainty, or a command presence, poise, influence, vision, all things that we look at and say, wow, I wish I was more like that. But the trick is, just like Agile, you can't buy leadership skill. And studying leadership as if it's a science, as if it's an academic subject, gets you nowhere. At best, I believe, leadership is a collection of skills. Most of them have to do with your ability to connect to and move other people. Move them emotionally, move them physically, move them mentally. Why does that matter? Well, we all know why leadership matters. Ultimately, we want to bring a group of people together and benefit from their numbers, from their mass. So being able to connect with them and inspire them to work differently, inspire them to collaborate better, inspire them to take more risk or less, to inspire them or move them to focus on something different this year. All of those things require an ability to connect and to drive outcomes. But here's the deal. There's no list of things you can say, or even a list of prescribed things that you're supposed to do that will assure your success in that role. Your job as leader is to just do it, and to do it boldly until you figure it out. Trust me on this. If you have people under your charge, small team, big team, entire company, community group, doesn't matter, your people will eventually find a way to tell you what leadership is. Just like a good product owner, they're going to tell you what they want, they're going to tell you what they need, and they're going to tell you what done well looks like. If you simply serve in a leadership or management role, you'll figure it out as you go. There's a misconception that leaders are the people who do all the important stuff, that they plan, they command, and other people simply follow. I disagree. I think leaders are simply people who go first. They hold themselves accountable for a result, whether that's a result of their own envisioning or of somebody else's, it doesn't matter. They connect to it. They learn how to live it, and then they know how to go for it, and they know how to do it in a way that inspires and motivates other people to do the same. Naturally, you don't do that with your back turned to them. You do that collaboratively, and that's where the connection part comes in. But, and this is important, there's a misconception that leaders are supposed to know exactly what to do in every situation. And this is where the training myth comes in, that there's some way I can teach you all of this stuff. I can give you a laundry list or a textbook of how to lead. Even the greatest leaders know that the most important service they offer to their teams and to the world at large is to be certain. Certain that they'll set an example for the team. Certain that they'll capture the hearts and the imaginations of the team. Certain that they will protect the team from harm. But never certain about what's going to happen and when. They simply know that they're on the job. And if that's what leadership really is, then they know that they're going to lead one way or the other. This is how they do service to the world. This is how they do service to the teams, the community, the company, and their clients. But if you think of leadership as a thing, if you think of it as something that you can study from a textbook, you're going to find out pretty quickly that there's too many do's and don'ts. Look around social media, you'll see leadership is, leadership isn't. Scroll through your feed today, you'll find 10 of them. But here's the deal. How are you supposed to remember them all? How are you supposed to arrange them into a framework that you can exercise and execute and measure yourself against? You can't possibly remember them all. You can't possibly expect each of these to work in every situation. And if all you're doing is remembering scripts, little bits of advice and platitudes here and there, that won't make you a leader. Leaders don't graduate. They arise. They come out of the soup for one reason or another. Hopefully, it's not the power that they crave, but the service, the call to duty. So if you find yourself in a leadership position, and remember, you don't have to have permission to lead. You can lead from wherever you happen to be in every circumstance in your life. You can lead in your family. You can lead in your community. You can lead in your peer group. You can lead if there's a chemical spill at the mall. So whenever you find yourself with a leadership opportunity in front of you, the best place to start is to create the compelling vision. We talk about this a lot. We teach it in the Forge and the Forge Professional. If you go all the way back to the beginning of the podcast, you can find multiple episodes across time about the importance of vision. Once you have that vision, you can lean on it anytime you need it. When you don't know the answer, what's the vision? What's the outcome? When you make a mistake and you have to be accountable for it, what's the vision? What's the goal? What's the outcome? When you've got a decision to make and you don't know whether to go left or right, what does the vision tell you? And then after that, the second most important skill might very well be to shut up and listen. What do the people around you think? What do they believe about the best way to get to that vision? What do they want? What do they need? What do they care about? What do they learn? What do they want to learn? If you can do those two things, hold yourself accountable to a compelling vision, and then listen to the team around you as you collaborate with them to achieve that goal, you got a great start. The rest of it, whether it's command presence, language, conflict management, time management, measurement and analytics, all the things that a leader might be accountable for by official job description will follow naturally. You learn them as they go. There's too many trends in leadership, and that's a trap because human beings don't fundamentally change. The world around them does, and they adapt to the challenge. But the skills they need to be successful have never wavered. Commitment, consistency, resilience, courage. Can you model those? If you can lead. My friends, I hope this one informs and inspires you. As always, reach out at badassagile.com. You can look for me on Twitter at badass_agile. You can look for me on Instagram at badassagile, but also on TikTok at badassagile. Don't forget to subscribe here to the podcast and on YouTube. I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, stay badass.